It's great to see so many people out today supporting something which is absolutely dear to my heart. On a sunny day like this, I was standing there on Gloucester Road with all of you, and I thought, what an incredible thing, and to see the people clapping us and the people that support the NHS, and I'd just like to thank you all for that. It's been absolutely brilliant, so thank you so much. I've been a radiographer, that's someone who takes x-rays. I've been a radiographer for 8 years so far. That means I've experienced 7 years of Tory austerity in the NHS. And in my time, I have seen the steady decline of services. I have seen how things go wrong. And that's why I've joined the People's Assembly to say, no, we can't go on like this. We need to put a stop to the underfunding of the Tories, the privatisation brought in by the Lib Dems and the Tories under the Health and Social Care Act. We need to kick them out, and we need to kick them out at this election.
Yeah.
Nobody wants privatisation. Nobody voted for it. They have to resort to lies to get it through. Lies in Parliament. The reason is there's more than 200 MPs and Lords who are in the pocket of private healthcare companies. No one voted for this.
Right.
All my colleagues are demoralised. We're constantly asked to do more for less. We've had 7 years of pay caps. We've reduced our real spending of wages by 17%. There are massive staff shortages. I know that all of us are struggling to get by under austerity. We've had 0 hours contracts, cuts to tax credits, cuts to disability allowance. All of these are a result of Tory austerity. We need to put a stop to all of it. But we need to remember that the attack on NHS workers, the attack on our pay, is an attack on the NHS. They told us that the NHS was unaffordable. More lies. We're having Brexit, so where's our 350 million a week? We can give all NHS workers a pay rise and still have money left over to provide everyone a decent living wage. They took our social care, they took our council houses, they took our mental health services, they took our welfare. When we need help, they punish us with benefit sanctions. We must fight back to defend our public services, to defend our rights. We all have the right to a publicly funded NHS that pays for everyone regardless of how much money they earn. With the People's Assembly, we'll continue to fight for public services. We'll surely be announcing a meeting after the election to discuss, because after June the 8th, the fight will still continue. If nothing else, remember this: it is our public duty together to get the Tories out on the 8th of June. It is our NHS, not theirs.
Yes. Hey.
Thank you very much, Nick. Okay, next we're just going to have our final main speaker, Lorna. Lorna's going to come back and say a few things just for a couple of minutes, and then we're going to finish up, people. So please just listen to Nurse Lorna again for a couple of minutes, and then we'll round things up. A couple of other things to announce to you.
Hello! Thank you all for sticking around and all your passion, all your love for the NHS. I share it with you. I'm not going to stand up on a log. My nursing training has taught me to kind of stay at people's level and talk to them at their level. So, but every time I try and write a speech about the NHS, like I've done lots of reading and research and reading of books and things into figures and various policies that are going on. I understand them all, but I end up finding myself feeling a little bit, I don't know, false and contrived, and I kind of feel like actually that the reality comes from the reason that I went into nursing. So I ended up making 3 key points that I wanted to cover, and it was making nursing a valued and desirable profession, adequately funding the NHS, and also staying true to its original principles. I've got Breaking Bad in brackets, so I'll go on to that later in a minute. But making nursing a valued and desirable profession. You know, they've cut the bursaries recently. They've cut every single year since I've started. We've had a 1% pay increase under the amount that we've had for inflation. Sorry, against inflation. Sorry. So every single year we've had our pay cut, and then now we've had our nursing bursaries cut. I think my strength is in telling stories as a nurse. I meet with people, I interact with people on a personal level, and I meet with them and I talk to them about their stories. And I've spoken to a student nurse recently who told me that she got £80 a month for her nursing training. And this is with the bursaries. This is before the bursaries have been taken away. So I asked her, so what are you doing? She said, well, luckily we funded my accommodation through my parents saving a trust fund for me since I was born, and me saving money. And I asked her, well, what are you going to do in the second year? So I don't know yet. But that's the thing, people go into nursing because it's a profession, because we love it, because we love our patients. We go into it blindly like fools, just loving the work we do and not knowing how we're going to get by the next year to the next, not looking for profits, looking for that joy of being there for people. But she doesn't know what she's going to do next year, and I don't know what she's going to do next year, and that scares me. And then you've got obviously doctors going to strike, an unprecedented amount of striking from doctors, and then also from nurses talking about a summer of protest, and then the RCM for the first time in 100 years voting to strike potentially in the next coming year. So people are giving you a signal, people that care are giving you a signal that they're worried. And then adequately funding the NHS and dropping the sham of efficiency savings. So in 2011 to 2013, so the data from that was taken into a study, and the results of that study were that 11 countries are compared, and actually the NHS was the most efficient healthcare service and the best healthcare service in the world.
Yeah.
So round of cheers for the NHS. Round of applause, sorry. And the US was rated right at the bottom, despite spending nearly 3 times as much as we do per head on healthcare. So how can you tell me that private healthcare is an answer to any problems in the NHS? How can you argue to me that we're trying to make efficiency savings when we're the most efficient healthcare service in the world?
Yeah.
This is just more cover for cuts. Efficiency savings, really, I don't know. Personally, if we're the most efficient healthcare service in the world, surely it's just cuts. Cuts, cuts, cuts. And that's not going to help people, in my opinion. Which takes me on to staying true to the founding principles of the NHS, which is making it free at the point of use to all, regardless of their ability to pay. I think it's a basic human right. Like, human healthcare is a basic human right. I mean, look at Breaking Bad. I've got Breaking Bad in brackets, like I said. I mean, has anyone seen the meme about Breaking Bad if it happened in the UK? So, I mean, it's quite funny. It's quite a funny series to watch in the UK, but I think it might be actually more painful to people watching it in the US. Because actually they've experienced relatives who've got a cancer diagnosis, and then they've not been able to go to their doctor and get immediate referral for surgery, immediate referral for radiotherapy, for chemotherapy, treatment to then make it go into remission so they don't have to worry about it again. Like, cancer is something we have to treat quickly. If we can't do that quickly, if people have to worry about whether they have the savings to do that, what kind of society are we in? It sounds awful and incredibly painful to me. So I just thank you all for staying around here to listen to us talk about this, and I think we need to stand up for this, because otherwise there's the potential for us to feel a lot of pain and a lot of suffering in the future on behalf of ourselves and our loved ones, and I think we really, really, really don't want that. So thank you again for being here.
Yeah.